Right. Well, hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar. My name is Jen, and today we're going to be talking about advancing groups and classes as well as advancing school grades. We're working in version 21.18.4 of Church Windows, and the information that we're covering today is in the 201 membership workbook, membership 201. And those workbooks, if you're following along or if you're interested in purchasing those workbooks, they're available under the beginning heading on our website, training workbooks right there. And with these webinars, if you need to come back and rewatch one, or if you're looking for a different topic altogether, you can go under the supporting menu to the support center. And all of our webinars are uploaded there within about a day or two of the presentation. So if you missed one or you're looking for one that you haven't seen coming up, go to the support center at churchwindows.com. And if you have any questions during the webinar, you can type those into the questions panel on your webinar toolbar. Rachel is with us and she'll be answering those as we go along, or I'll come back and answer any at the end. Okie doke, without further ado, let's dive right in. We're going to open up membership in order to do the advancing, but first, the most important thing you can do before you make a big change in Church Windows is come over to Administration and click Backup. Anytime we're doing a big mass change like this, where we're advancing all of our enrolled children from one grade to another, we want to make a quick backup. I'm going to use my desktop. As you can see here, it says Backup to and then Desktop, and just click Begin Backup. That saves us a lot of headache if something goes wrong, like we end up realizing that we had already advanced the classes, or maybe the kids are not enrolled in the right classes to begin with. We can always go back to that backup. All right, so let's open up membership now. And we're going to start with the groups classes part. There are two separate things that we can advance. Groups and classes are for your Sunday school classes, or if you have church school classes, things like that, that people are actually enrolled in. So for that, you go to Group Skills, and in the Setup Groups screen, if we bring up one of our classes as an example, there's a checkbox right here that determines whether or not a group or a class is shown on the advanced screen. For example, our committees won't be on the advanced screen. They have that box unchecked because they're not going to move from one level to the next. They might change based on voting or things like that, but they won't advance from one level to a following level, like first and second grade, or third and fourth grade, or fifth and sixth grade, for example. All right, so that's the first piece of the puzzle that needs to be set in order for a class to be able to advance. The school grades are different. Those are recorded on an individual's record in People. If you open up People and you scroll through these fields of the individual information, the school grade will be a drop-down box. On my list, it's showing up right here in the middle. Your list is going to be different, and if you need to rearrange the order of your list, you have a Customize Fields button up here. So the school grade is on the person's record. If I skip forward to for an example of someone who has that filled out, this person is older and they have graduate. This person is younger and they have 12th grade. So the school grade is what's recorded on an individual person's record. Here's someone with kids. If we look at these kids, we can see some grade levels there. So that's the school grade versus the groups and classes. The advance options for both the groups and classes and the school grade are under special functions up top. So special functions, and then you either have advanced grade or advanced group. I'm going to start out with advanced group. So these are our classes. And you can see it's a short list. It's only the classes that have that box checked that we looked at in the setup screen. For today's example, I'm only going to work with these 3 classes. And if you look over on the list here, there's a column for remove history. What that means is if it's checked, it will remove the record of the person once they're moved from one level to the next. If you want to maintain a history to know who was enrolled during what date ranges, you don't want this box checked. You want the history to remain. So if we remove these check boxes, then we will maintain the history of when people were enrolled in a class based on the date ranges. And we can click Save to save those unchecks. Now, if this is your first time, you'll also need to match the classes. These boxes here will be all empty if it's your first time. And so you need to choose the To group on the right that's associated with the group on the left. So obviously, 1st and 2nd grade is going to go to 3rd and 4th grade. So that's what should be in the To side of things. Once that's all set up, click Save. If you want to advance all of the classes in the list, you can click this checkbox at the very top, or you can just choose the ones that you want to work with. So I'm just going to choose those 3, and I'm going to click Advanced Selected. Then it's going to go one by one through each group and class and make sure which people I want to advance and what other information I might want to change. So since this is a 1st and 2nd grade class, only some of the kids are going to be moving forward. So I'm just going to choose the kids off of this list that will be going forward to the 3rd and 4th grade. We're going to leave Victoria, Joanne, and Olivia in the 1st and 2nd grade. They were 1st last year, 2nd this year, so they stay in that level. The members should be current as of today up here, and the roles and comments and teachers are all optional things that can be advanced with the kids, or they can be left behind. The start date and end dates are optional. However, if you want to maintain a history, they are necessary. So I'm going to put in September 1st as my start date, and I'm going to put June 1st as my end date next year. And I'm going to click OK. And it's going to save the history and move the kids we need forward. That's what that little message says. So now we've got the next level, and we can grab those kids that we want to move, and we put our dates back in again. And we click OK. And we get the notification again, and we say OK. And we just continue until we go through all of our classes that we selected. And that finishes that. And you can see here on the Advanced Groups Classes screen, it tells us when we advanced them and by whom. It says universal login if you don't have usernames set up. Otherwise, it will say the name of the user who did the advance. So that's the groups classes portion. Now we're going to look at the grades, the school grades. And it's asking if I want to save the changes. I didn't make any changes I need to save, so I'm going to click no. I already advanced. And just to prove that that did advance, it still says advanced on today's date on the list. All right, now let's look at our grades. So in our grades, this is just a list. So the people in the level listed will be going to the level below. They'll advance in this order. So kindergarten to first to second, etc., going all the way down. Now these are the grades that come with Church Windows. You can add new grades. For example, I could add a C level for college. College students, and that would come after high school graduates. So that's correct. And we can tell it not to advance. And it puts it at the top of the list if we don't want to advance it. But we'll leave it at the bottom of the list. If you need to add something to the beginning of the list, like pre-K, all you have to do is use these arrow buttons to move the field or the level, the grade level, to the appropriate spot on the list. You could add, if you have a nursery school that's even younger than pre-K, you could add that as well. Whatever you need to make it work for you. You just press add new grade if you need to add one. If you've added some that you want to get rid of, you can delete them using the red minus button on the far right here. I'm going to click Save Changes for those 2 additional levels that I added. And that's the most complicated part of this process, just adding the extra levels that you may need and getting them in the right order. Then all you do is click Advanced Grades up here at the top left. And it will let you know it's going to move them from the first grade listed to the one below it, unless Do Not Advance is checked. And the last grade will not go any further because there's nothing for it to go to. So that's all that message is saying, and we click OK, and they have been advanced. And now our last date advanced changed. And again, we have the name of the person, universal login if you don't have username set up, or it would say the name of the person if they were set up. Now you may be wondering what happens if somebody already advanced for the year and you try to advance again. You'll get a little warning that said, hey, they were last advanced today, or whatever the date was. And this message will pop up if you are trying to advance more than once within 9 months, like it says there. So it will notice the dates, and if it's been less than 9 months since the last time you advanced, you are going to get an extra, are you sure you want to do this, sort of a message. And we'll say no. And that is that. So that concludes today's webinar. Thank you all very, very much for attending, and we hope it was helpful.